Hello gentlemen, today I'm going to break down a mini scheme for you out of the gun bunch open tight end formation. Now I'm currently in the Cowboys playbook, but you can find this formation in the Jags as well as the Chargers. And I will say that this probably isn't a full-time formation. It doesn't have enough plays in it. But if you have additional routes, you can definitely make it somewhat of a full-time formation. But if you're in your regs or CFM, you're allowed to use a custom playbook. Definitely consider adding this formation to your custom because it's just a really unique off-meta formation. You have a spread out bunch and the running back on the same side as that bunch. So you have 4 strong to one side. You can't use match coverage against this. And then you have an on-the-line tight end across from the running back. So if you run the ball to that side, you're going to get pretty good blocking. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. I'm going to put timestamps down in the description so you guys can jump around if you want. But let's go ahead and get right into it. One thing that I want to quickly mention before I get into the scheme is that you should definitely run this with the bunch on the wide side. I do think it's better in most cases. I will say there's probably one play that's a little bit better on the short side, but overall, I think it's better to work with more spacing. So if the ball's on the left hash, you want your bunch on the right side. And then if the ball is on the right hash, you're going to flip your formation and then run your bunch on the left. Okay, let's start off with one of the main reasons to use this formation to begin with, and that is going to be the RPO zone alert bubble. I don't know why this RPO is so good. You just get really insane blocking from your receivers on this. And the way you want to read this is, first of all, just kind of check above your bunch and just count how many defenders there are in the area. Right now, there's really only 2, close to the line of scrimmage. So it's basically you have 2v2. Both of your blockers will pick up those 2 guys, and then the bubble is going to get underneath that. So the way I recommend doing this is hit B or circle. That's going to zoom out your camera. Then you can throw it like this. Just throw it to your RB. And if they're in backed off coverage like that and they only have 2 guys over there, it's usually going to be like 10 yards at least. So like right here. Now there's 3 defenders in the area. But the cool thing is, even though there's 3 defenders close to the line of scrimmage, that inside slot receiver above RB has to be on, I would say, like a man up or a 0-yard flat or something. If he's not, you can easily throw it just like this. Right there, our blocker unfortunately went inside instead of picking up the guy right above him. But like right here again, just read it like this. You see how he just gets upfield? You can get really big yardage doing this, and it's just very frustrating. Your opponent is probably not prepared for this RPO. He's going to have to, use man coverage, man align, something like that to really take this away. Now, it isn't an RPO read, which would be really, really good if it was, but this is like the next best thing. So do it again. As you can see, that guy picked up 2 guys, and it's just going to be very annoying. Now, like I said earlier, we do have a tight end across from our running back. So if we decide to hand it off to the running back, he's typically going to get pretty good blocking. I would recommend, checking their defensive line for inside stuffs. If they have inside stuff on their D-line, you definitely want to use a double team mechanic to cancel that out. But I'll just hand it off to the running back here. And it's definitely an option. Your opponent's probably not going to know a run shoot for this. It's really hard to shoot a RPO run. But, it's not the greatest thing in the world. You definitely want to throw the bubble if it's available. But if they take away the bubble, you do have the option to just hand it off to your running back and possibly get 3 to 5 yards. Before I get into the passing plays, just another reminder that we're currently running a sale on acemadden.com for 50% off your first month. Just use code Lombardi at checkout, and it'll take 50% off either base or pro memberships. Both grant you access to every single offense and defense that we currently have on the site, and they will definitely help you win more games. And this is probably going to be the lowest price that you can possibly get. So take advantage while you can. It's going to end right after the Super Bowl. So code Lombardi at checkout for 50% off your first month. Next up, we have Flood, which is a really good zone beating concept. And as the name suggests, it's just a basic flood. You have the bunch side where you have a clear out, you have a short flat, and then you have the corner route right above it. This is going to be really good if they don't have a deep out zone KO at their outside cornerback. If they don't have that, you're probably going to hit your corner route for a big gain every single time. Now, what you can do to kind of elevate this play is put your running back on a streak. And the way I recommend starting off your progression is just staring at the middle of the field and finding the user and throwing at the dig or the streak if it's open. Because you're going to know if they're open immediately, and then you can hit your corner route later. So let's just go ahead and take a look here. So like right here, boom, running back streak. Just hit it. If it's open, hit it, because there's no guarantee your corner route is going to be open later. Right here, there's nobody over there, I would recommend running the bubble in this case. If they give you any kind of look like this, probably not going to happen. But like right here, I'm going to zoom out with B or circle. I'm probably just going to throw it to my flat and get my massive yardage. Let's do it again. Right here, it looks like it's going to be like a cover zero. Here's what I recommend doing if they're playing really any kind of man coverage on you. I would change the tight end dig to a curl, and that's going to give you a quick option versus man. As soon as he hits his break, you throw that, and that's going to be open versus really anybody, so long as they don't have any kind of knockout ability. Right here, again, it's going to be a man coverage. Just throw the curl. You do not want to keep the dig versus man coverage. It's really not going to do you any favors. One more time. There's a curl. I'm going to go ahead and go to like a cover 3 so I can show you how this flood side works, because it's kind of important. The whole purpose of calling this play is to, attack a cover 3 or cover 4 or something like that. So cover 3 sky. And let's go ahead and hit this corner out. Again, if they don't have a deep out, going to need a little bit more time. If they don't have a deep out zone KO on that outside cornerback, it is going to be open. Let me go ahead and double team this guy because he's killing me. Oops. Just possession catch it just like that. And that's going to work versus cover 3 and cover 4. Again, so long as they don't have deep out zone KO. D-line is just shedding the absolute crap out of me. But I think you guys get the point. I'll do it one more time. Probably throw them a little bit early and get that completion. Next up, we have Y trail, and we do have a couple different setups for this. And I love this play against really, I would say, anything. It's really good against zone, especially like a cover 3, cover 2. Cover 4, drop, it'll struggle a little bit, but overall, it's going to be pretty solid versus zone. So the first setup is just going to be stock. I will say that you can just block your running back if you want, but the reason I like keeping the swing on the field is if there's really nothing open, swings are a really good kind of bailout route to just kind of throw the ball away. Because like, let's snap it real quick. Nothing's open, pretend nothing's open, there's a throwaway. And we're not going to get penalized for that. So that's why I like keeping the swing. But if you just really need to pick up a blitz or something, it's totally okay just to block your running back because he's not really in your progression. He's just kind of a throwaway route. So I'm going to leave the play stock for now. And really you want to hit one of your checkdowns, I would say. This little kind of angle route, this trail route from this receiver is going to be open a lot, especially if you keep that running back swing. He will pull flat zones out just like this. And this will really annoy your opponent. Yes, it's not the sexiest thing of all time because you're throwing like a check down for 5 yards. But we'll get to the, big gain in a second. So like right there, that was a cover 0. I totally should have blocked my running back. There's going to be our post route. That's kind of our money route. We're going to really talk about that post in a second with the second setup. Right there, if they don't have a deep end zone KO, that is going to be a completion pretty much every single time. Tight end will win on the corner route sometimes. Probably not a good idea to throw him before you see if he gets separation. But I do see him separating sometimes. Like right here, the reason we keep the corner route is because he's going to occupy a deep zone on that side of the field. And just kind of keep him towards the sideline so we have a small window for this post to get open. With knockout abilities, it definitely becomes harder to fit that ball in. It'll probably get knocked out for sure. But overall, there is a small window for you to possession catch that. Now that's the first setup. Let's talk about the second setup. And then for wide trail number 2, what we're going to do is streak the inside receiver, which is A, and then swing your running back across the formation. So he's on the right side of the field. You're going to swing him left. That's going to do 2 things. First of all, it's a throwaway route. We already talked about this. If you don't like what you see, just click your right stick in and throw the ball away. Number 2, he's going to pull flat zones to the sideline, and that's going to make your drag more open across the middle of the field. Now, this setup is really designed to attack a cover 3. It is going to be good against other coverages as well, but the purpose of the streak on the inside is to hold a middle third because you want to hit this post for a really big gain. Now, we didn't get enough time there because his Eagles D-line is insane. Go ahead and like double this guy, I guess. As you can see, we have a big window. If you get enough time, it's going to be like a one-play touchdown versus cover 3. One more time. And D-line's just crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and go against random defense now, just to show you it's not really just a cover 3 beater. It can really attack most things. I would say it struggles maybe against a cover 4 drop, but that's pretty much it. So let's have another look. As you can see, middle third is just not going to get there. Now, if the drag is open, go ahead and take your drag because, to be honest, you don't know how much time you're going to get in the pocket. It's like right here. Boom. There's your drag. Get your 10 to 15 yards. I know it's not like the same as the post, but it's more guaranteed. It happens very quickly. Right there. There's your drag. Just gained, what, 7, 8 yards? If the user is going to defend the drag, then you're probably going to have the post. And then remember, like I said, if there's nobody above your bunch, it's like right here, there's one defender over there. Don't run this. Definitely run your bubble. Just like this. And you're going to get a huge gain. We got a very lucky shed. But how many defenders are over there really dictates what play call you're going to use. Let's do it again. Didn't have enough time to throw the post. The corner route from the tight end, I will say, can sometimes separate versus man, but just do not count on it to do that. So right here, here's the cover 4, I think. Cover 4 is going to bag this pretty much because that inside quarter is not really going to get cleared. He's going to run with the post. So in this case, I really didn't have anything but maybe the drag right here or the swing route. So cover 4 is a great solution against this type of setup. Right here, kind of some separation with that tight end. But yeah, that's going to be wide trail number 2. And the final play we're going to talk about is going to be Z-spot. Now, the reason that this is a play that we call is because we have a corner route from a different receiver. It's actually from the slot receiver as opposed to flood, where we have it from the inside receiver. And that's nice because if your opponent starts adjusting, manning guys up and stuff, he might not expect the corner route from that guy. And then we also can clear out an outside zone, outside deep zone, with a streak from the inside receiver, which you'll see in a second. We'll actually call this against the cover 3 just to demonstrate that. But there is one very important thing that you need to do with this play. Because if you call this play like this, for instance, it has an auto rollout like this, which you really don't want because if you have your formation flipped, you might be running across your quarterback's body to his weak hand and making him throw crossbody, which you don't really want. So to cancel the rollout, all you're going to do is once the ball is snapped, you're going to tap your left stick back. So ball is snapped, you see how it canceled the auto rollout, and it now becomes a usable play. So you have to do that. That's very important. Do not keep the auto rollout, I mean. Just tap your left stick back, just kind of like down at 6 o'clock, as soon as the ball is snapped. So what we're going to do for the actual route combination is we're going to fade our inside receiver, which is A, drag the outside receiver, and then swing your running back across the formation. You can definitely just block him if you want, but the swing, again, it's a throwaway route. It's going to be good spacing for your drag. Now, if you have additional routes, like the running back apprentice routes, like angle route and stuff, you probably want to use those in some of these route combinations because the angle route is just really good versus man coverage, and it'll just work nicely in this formation. But since we're not working with any extra routes, just use these swings. They're going to be fine. Now, the idea here is to hit the corner route. The fade is going to clear a deep zone. and you're going to hit this corner route just like this. Now, if you get this exact spacing, even deep out zone KO is not going to break on that. So that works out nicely. If they press this corner route with a flat zone, it's typically going to help us because he's just going to get a little bit better spacing. And remember, the point of this play is to have a different receiver running the corner route as opposed to flood. Just remember to tap your left stick back, cancel that rollout, and then throw this corner route. So that's the basic idea of this play. Now, the rest of the play, we do have, the S post from the tight end. You do need quite a bit of time to throw them, but you can because of that inside receiver clearing out a middle third. But in this case, it looks like the hook zone just dropped really far back, and that cornerback actually made a pretty big or really good play on that. But, this hook zone, against a real player, this hook zone here is not going to drop this far back. He drops like 20 yards back. If that's the user and he takes the S post, just throw your drag or your corner route. So let's briefly go against random play, and then we'll wrap this up. C spot, random play, fade, drag, swing. And then remember, nobody's above the bunch really. It's just one player, so just run your bubble, but go ahead and snap this anyways. There's your corner. Bad animation, unfortunately. Okay, this might be a man coverage, so we're probably going to have to hit our drag or our corner route. In this case, we do get separation on the corner. And overall, guys, very simple play to use. It's just a nice little mix-up from flood. Anyways, that's going to be it for the breakdown. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Please drop a like if you did. It really helps the channel grow. And then the second thing I want you to do is let me know in the comment section who is going to win the Super Bowl and then what the final score is going to be. Because whoever is the closest, I will do something pretty cool for you after the Super Bowl finishes. So drop that in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video.